Yeah, I'm not even sure if this is going to work right, but we're going to roll with it like this. We do that, then we do this.
Yeah!
A few moments later.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sasquatch Shills for Sasquatch Shills, where you don't have to. Yeah, no, we got Cabinet Curmudgeon over here fixing to do his little sting out. I love the way he ends all of his videos. And we got Ardent Pardy in the background. We'll be bringing them up in a minute. Right after Cabinet Curmudgeon, I'll go through chat. How about them apples? All right, take us away, Cap.
Batman v Superman was terrible. Justice League was worse. Although it has to be said, to Zack Snyder's credit, those movies sucked, but they didn't suck because they were trying to be woke. They sucked the old-fashioned way by being terrible. In fact, the activist left, as I recall, rather hated both of those pictures because they were outraged at how often the camera lingered on Wonder Woman's backside. The male gaze. Because there is nothing more shameful for a woman than having an ass that men love to look at. And yes, the Snyder cut of Justice League was an improvement on the theatrical cut. I think I even gave it a grudgingly positive review, but for the whole last decade now, DC has been trying to play catch up with Marvel instead of coming up with their own coherent plan for what they want to do with their characters. And I think dropping the banhammer on this stupid Batgirl movie is Mr. Zaslav's way of saying that time is at an end. If Marvel is going to spend the next 3 years churning out unwatchable woke garbage, and they most assuredly have begun doing that already in earnest, then they're giving us an opening, and we need to walk through it. But we don't walk through it by making movies about a Mexican lesbian Batgirl and her transgender sidekick. If we're going to supplant Marvel, it has to be by setting ourselves apart from them. It seems like very exceedingly simple, reasonable thinking, but for a current-day Hollywood studio exec, it's a real visionary act. Let's hope it works. As much as I've been a Marvel partisan ever since I was a small child, if DC is going to be the brand that attempts to drive a stake through the heart of the woke Hollywood era, then I wish them all the success in the world, and they have got my support. You know who else has my support? You do, dear viewer, because you have impeccable taste in YouTube videos. Thank you very much indeed for watching. The host could never overstate his appreciation for your willingness to let me bloviate at you for 18 to 20 minutes, 3 evenings per week. Have a pleasant tomorrow and an edifying Sunday. I will see you next week. Do not comply. Get off my lawn.
Do not comply. Get off my lawn. Yep. That's Captain Curmudgeon, folks. He might be one of the last superheroes on Earth. Ardent, bud, what's up? You're in here. You should do that.
Oh,
All right,
how's it
so
going,
I
man?
haven't told anybody anything about your channel. I didn't say a word about it. So there's a few things there. I'm going to put you on the big screen and let you tell everybody what it is and what it was and how it's going to be. Oh, yeah, no, I want to see the refraction of the light across your forehead. That's exactly what I want to see. Did you shine it up good for me? I hope so. I'm sorry. I do apologize. Good man. All right, tell us what it is.
If I'm blinding all your viewers, that's their problem at this point. My channel, I only started it in January this year, and it's still kind of in the middle of evolving. But it started off as just a way for me to talk about what I saw as issues facing men in general. And it's kind of evolved. I intended initially never to talk about politics. Yeah, no, politics is like my sports, man. The way other men talk about hockey or baseball, that's me with politics, especially political debates. So, I mean, the upcoming midterms, I'm getting kind of jazzed for stuff like that too. But after, I think about 6 months, I finally got allowed by YouTube to finally start being able to do live streaming from my mobile device, and that's why I started doing the woodworking streams. And doing those, I mean, I get to converse with my chat, so it's just a great opportunity to show another thing that I love to do while doing something else I love to do, which is talking to people. So, yeah. And I mean, I do a little bit of audio reading. I do a bit of I'm trying to finish an actually original audio tale that one of my buddies wrote. I've been slacking on that real bad.
That'll be no. It's hard to do. I've got hundreds of hours of stuff over here recorded that just doesn't sound good to me, and I'm trying to figure out how to get around the issue I'm having, and I'm decided it's just the mic setup I have just isn't suited for my voice.
Yeah. The thing I have going is I'm a poor, so I have to work with what I can afford. But
I've pretty much shot my wad as far as money expenditure on this rig. Somebody else have to pay for the next one. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you on that one.
Well, that's kind of what I've got going too. I'm lucky enough to have a really great subscriber, I suppose, on Subscribestar, who's actually willing to give me way more than I asked for every month. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to save up that money, and the moment I can pull that money out, that'll be going probably to either a really good mic setup or possibly a down payment on a new laptop, something a little more powerful for the studio. Either way.
Right. I'm in line right now looking for a solid desktop.
I can build you one. Oh, wait, no, you mean a computer.
Yeah. I might need a solid desktop to put it on while we're at it, but that's pretty good. You should take around the bases right there, buddy. No, I got a little bit of your video over here that just kind of says a lot about your channel in general, I think.
Okay, hi everybody. If you're watching a replay of this, then it's going to get very loud at times. If you see me putting plugs in my ears, that's a good hint for you to put plugs in yours or turn your audio down. Okay. A little explanation. The camera adds 10 pounds, but that motherfucker looks about 50 heavier than I do. 5 pieces of
it's old video too.
I guess you'd call it sustainably harvested juniper that has been cured for roughly 2 years. It is hard as a rock because, unlike most juniper, this particular tree that I harvested it from is not unaccustomed to being saturated with salt water, sea spray. And so I suspect the wood has absorbed quite a lot of salt. Sea salt. I haven't tasted it, so I don't know.
I love it, dude.
I love it when you're hunting for a word and you've already said it, and it's just as well to repeat it. Yeah.
It's like, it is. I could have said sodium, potassium, sodium chloride, any number of sodiums, but whatever it is, you got to tell yourself to get to sleep at night, right? Oh no, we're not there yet. We're gonna do this muted for a while because it does get really loud here in a second. All right. So have you started up any kind of merch line yet?
I've got one product that actually I was working on, I think, for that stream that I was doing there, which was the candle holder. That's currently sitting pinned on my Getter account. But right now I'm actually trying to get another set of things done. That's these keychains, which you actually gave me the idea for. And that's going to be the next product that goes up. I mean, it has to be fairly small stuff. It's almost all reclaimed wood at this point because of the cost of lumber. So
I dig it. I think you should do little YouTube rounds. You just lop them off the end of a log, burn them in, shave them down on the outside, dip it in varnish, and throw it in a pile with the rest of them. Take about 12 seconds or so.
Yeah, it won't take a hell of a lot of time if I have the gear.
Yeah. The most expensive part of it would be the little branding iron to make the play button or whatever. Yeah.
I've got my own maker's mark that I use, and I looked into getting a stamp made of that, and that was something like $200 to get a stainless steel stamp made. So, yeah.
Shoot. You need to call somebody to do a 3D printing. What you need to do.
Well, what I need is something I can just lay on a piece of wood, take a hammer to the back end of it, and just give a quick bang, right? And I don't know if 3D printed plastic would hold up to that.
Maybe.
Maybe. It depends.
We have these weird rubber, we call them rubber dies that we used on aluminum.
Okay.
And they weren't hard. They were kind of a weird, and that's how you did it. You smack shit out of it with a hammer. Wow.
Oh, okay. I'll have a look at that too then.
I don't know what it was made of exactly, but it was kind of a weird, really, really stiff sort of HDPE type plastic.
Oh, okay.
One of those that always smells like oil.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Hard. I only ever broke one that I remember, and because the piece that came in was anodized, so that outside layer was actually harder than aluminum, and nobody told me the difference. I just reached over, smacked it, and that sucker snapped right off the end of it. I was like, "Ooh, It branded it. I mean, it marked it, but what do? You know?
Yeah.
Didn't you try to make a flute? Are you gonna?
I made 3 attempts at making a flute, and I think what the problem was I was using the same juniper wood that I was talking about there, and I think the biggest problem was that the wood had too long to dry out, and I was within hair's breadths a couple of times of being done, and the thing just went boom, just blew apart because I hit one particular fiber or one little tiny knot hole. Yeah, it was. Even one of my buddies has said, that it looked kind of heartbreaking. And,
I imagine
it was, but I mean, it's one of those things where you go, okay, I'm on camera, so I really can't swear and throw things.
Okay.
And I noticed this particular video. I'm wearing the cabinet maker special plaid pajama pants.
Fantastic, dude.
Honestly, yeah. These random things. Normally, I wear shorts when I'm doing woodwork, and it just so happened that this was one of those days where I got up, I made my morning video, and I said, "Screw it, I want to do some woodwork," and just grabbed the apron and went to work, and forgot what I was wearing altogether.
I'm kind of upset with you. When I gave you the big screen, you didn't beat your camera with a cigarette immediately.
Oh no, I don't smoke indoors.
I know. I know. I was kind of heartbroken when I saw the set. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to go get that, put it in."
No. We'll have to get your. We'll have to leave something for your viewers to go and check out my channel for.
Yeah, just for the cigarette beat. I swear to God, I tuned in every day just to see you beat out. I don't know why.
And I mean, the funny thing about that is that just started as I hadn't intended to start the camera, and I was tapping my cigarette, and it happened to be right over the camera lens on the tablet. And I looked at it when I played it back, and was like, "That's really unique." And that tap 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 sound is going to get people's attention.
We're going to talk about eco terrorists. It's soup. What?
Oh yeah. How much swearing can I do on your channel, by the way?
I got 2 shits to give about a fucking a damn. My intro.
Yeah. Well, just to have it out of the way, then fuck those 2 cunts.
Right.
Yeah, I was absolutely choked when I saw them do that.
Did you hear what I was playing right before we came live?
Oh yeah, I was bopping away to it. I don't recognize it, but I like the music.
There's an artist on I don't know if it's YouTube. I don't know where the hell he's from, what he does, but he does music, and he's releasing a lot of his beats and jams and stuff to copyright free versions.
Oh, okay.
Well, I went and dug up about 2 dozen of them, and I'm fishing around for other type of stuff like that's worthwhile. And I'm going to set up a radio station to play in the middle of the night when everybody's asleep, so I don't bother too many people. And I have Mexican long hair, an abstract look. I'm going to get in touch with Keto and Crime, and perhaps you, Captain Curmudgeon, and probably 5 or 6 other creators, and see about trying to get a slot done between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the morning, Eastern.
Okay.
Where some sort of thing that was done and wasn't quite good enough to be on your channel gets sent that way to be put in, and it'll probably be muted unless it's hilarious, and there'll just be music played behind it, because it's essentially a radio station. And there's a link that will be associated with the streams that will allow you to host a live stream on the radio station, so to speak. So if you've got something in particular you're doing, you can do it. and you don't, and on it can be when I'm live instead of when you're live, or however you want to handle that type of situation. Because depending on how much this catches on, I'll do either more or less of it. Because I always wanted to be a DJ.
I did. What did I do? I did read the news a couple of times when I was in university on the university radio station, and I can't not editorialize. It turns out.
Actually, I love the idea. It would be great to have a newscaster pop in. We could just use your voice, or we'll get you we'll go get a picture of you standing in the rain on some mountaintop or something as your avatar. News break. Yeah, they do stuff somewhere else.
Yeah, this was back when I think it was Preston Manning was trying to get the Reform Party going up here in Canada, and I couldn't help but editorialize about how much I disliked Preston Manning at the time. So I finished the read, left the booth. The guy in charge of the radio station said, "Don't ever do that again." And I went, "Okay." And the next time I went in, I did it again. He came in, literally hit the mute button and said, "Get out," and took over for me.
Right. Well, I've never had an opportunity to work at a radio station. I applied like 3 or 4 times to a local one here. And for whatever reason at the time, they were hiring women in every case. Like it was the same position for like the midnight anchor person or whatever. And it historically on that station has always been a woman. And so they were replacing the same slot. And I'd go in and put my application in every single time and tell them they were discriminating. That was inappropriate and wrong. Well, AAP got some love out there for me. He sent his bees into my chat. This might be fixing to get real interesting. We just went from 2 people to 22.
Oh, nice.
27. Here we go. You ready for a ride? Yeah, I appreciate it.
Oops.
You never expect anybody to do something like that, but it's absolutely amazing when they do. I love each and every one of you like a brother and a sister. And I would highlight, what's up, Vanilla Gorilla? I would highlight some of it, but I can't keep up with it because it exploded.
Yeah, I feel the same way about everybody who pops into my chat. I mean, I talk to so many of these people on a fairly regular basis that they're basically friendly with me, as far as I'm concerned.
Usually I go in and shout everybody out, but there's 33 people in here. There's no way in hell I'm ever going to catch up.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even try at this point. I'm just looking to see if anybody came over from my channel at this point.
Stony Ganja Ghost. I love some of these names. Team Black Diamond Outdoor. Crazy Girl Oddities and Adventures. Oh, this is awesome. Fantastic. Okay, so woodworking. You attempted an instrument. I'd really like to see you do the instrument again.
Yeah. The instrument actually was intended to be a gift for my buddy who actually did the writing for the audio tale that I'm working on. So,
okay, so you're going to take another swing at that flute because I'd love.
That's not. It's not something I'm good at, giving up on something when I want to try it. So
it's good to hear. Yeah. That's that. I love that. I don't care if you break it 10 times myself. I know.
Neither do I. If I get it right once, I'm good.
Good Lord, Stickman Magnet Find Outdoors Adventures. Social, i.e. Monster Bud. Chuck C, Texas Randomness. That's a pretty good one. That's a real good one. I like that. That's probably my favorite one I've seen yet. What's up, AAP? Appreciate it, brother. Much love. But I noticed you did one hike one day. I don't know if that was a planned thing that you did, or you just went up there and was like, fuck it, I'm going live, or how that worked.
No, I did plan it because that was actually the first expedition, I guess we'll call it, looking for more juniper, for fresher branches, because the video I watched on YouTube of the guy making the flute that I was trying to pattern after, he went and actually collected fresh branches and then did a lot of the woodwork ahead of time before he let them dry. And that's what I was thinking was, okay, maybe this is where a lot of my problem is coming from, is that I'm working with dry wood initially, where I should be taking fresh cut branches and trying it. But of course, where I went, there wasn't a single juniper stick to be found.
I made an attempt to make a gun here. Odin's spear.
Oh, cool.
And after a couple of trials, I've got this really wild sword that I got from a guy. I don't even really remember how I went about getting. I think he might have left it in my truck or something. I don't remember how it ended up being in my possession, but it's this anodized, titanium covered, wacky ass rainbow titanium thing. You know, razor freaking sharp, has no handle on it. Never has, to my knowledge. And I wanted to take it and split a particular. I got a cane in there that's got it's like a walking stick, and it's got a dead straight line through the middle of it. I want to split it and slide the sword into it as the spear of Odin. Give me some lightning effects. We'd be in business, wouldn't we?
That sounds really awesome. I spent a significant portion of time being pagan and like to call myself heavily Loki influenced because I like to fuck with people.
There are old trolls and bold trolls, but there are no old bold trolls. You got to remember, it didn't work out well for Loki.
That's true. Yeah, he kind of got gnawed on by a big dog at the end there, didn't he?
So let's take a look at the poll. I had a poll up. We're gonna look at it. Is Poutine a food group? 48% says yes. 52% says no. How do you feel about it?
I think 52% of your viewers are wrong.
Fantastic. We'll see how that closes out at the end of the hour. But okay, the flute, the keychains, you did some hiking, you do this weird political / just news oriented type thing.
Yeah, that's like the weekly live stream that I do. That initially was intended just to be me talking about a general issue that affects people, something more along the lines of philosophy rather than politics. But one day I was kind of running low on ideas, and I thought, I should just look and see what's in the news for Newfoundland. And the story I found was about, if I recall correctly, it was something to do with centralizing some authority. And just that alone gave me enough of an impetus to go, okay, well, I don't like centralizing authority, so let's have a look at that. What's that?
I said, I'm not a fan of centralized authority. That top-down approach blows.
Yeah, the thing that I've kind of fallen into. What's that?
There's so many people coming through here subbing that I can't thank you all. I may just do a video later to do all of that, because usually I do it live when it's going on, but there's no way in hell I can keep up with that. It's impossible. In a good way. M's Mad World, that's a good one. The Quiet Listener. No, just Quiet Listener. It's another good one. I like that. Pretty good. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. What were you saying?
No, that's fine. I'm actually using the opportunity to get this thing shilled out to everybody I know.
I don't know if you've got any kind of dono link or anything like that. You can drop it in chat. I've got your channel link pinned to the top of the thing. It goes straight to your channel page, and there's nothing there. You have nothing on your channel page, nothing at all. It's like, I make streams.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I haven't done fuck all with that channel, not properly. I'll grab the subscribe star link and throw in there. Oh, that's not going to do it. If you guys go into a video and just click in the description, you'll find every single link that I've ever created. So
it's over there. I just couldn't find it before the show. I wandered around in a few of them, and the links that I found I couldn't transfer. Right.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't work in StreamYards, or it doesn't work in the chat for YouTube for whatever reason. It was broken on this end, works on that end. I don't know. I'm doing it wrong. I'm sure it's my fault. It's almost always my fault. Because I'm a professional.
Yeah, I had to be bullied into actually creating decent thumbnails by my friends on the Sultans of Chatelet. So I appreciate them, but also fuck them.
Right? Screw those guys. They're always bothering me.
Yeah, I absolutely treasure those guys for doing exactly what I would want someone to do for me, which is give me the encouragement and give me the pressure to do it right.
Right. Well, no, I'm of the opinion, do it wrong the first time, do it wrong the first 3 or 4 times, but do it better every single time. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to do it correctly. You don't have to succeed at everything you do. trying sometimes is enough to let you know that that's not something you want to do, and that's fine. Do something else. Film it. Put it on YouTube.
I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but this little green pick here is how I know that I can't play guitar, and I'll never be able to play guitar.
Right? I mean, I'm right there with you on that one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This one right here. Got a bunch of little keepsakes and stuff hanging here next to me. I've got my my Star Wars rep right there.
I got a whole Star Wars shelf in there totally by accident. I was a Boba Fett fan since time memorial, and I tried to collect Boba Fett stuff, but I'm one of those pores that we talk about, right? So all my Boba Fett shit's all beat up, scun up, but it's okay because that's Boba Fett, right? So
Absolutely.
in the process, people who couldn't find Boba Fett bought me other things Star Wars that's not Boba Fett. And so I have this decent Star Wars collection of stuff all wrapped around the idea of collecting Boba Fett stuff. And then later when the Mandalorian and Clone Wars came out and there started being some Boba Fett type stuff around, that shit just flooded in. I had to put a stop to it. One shelf, that's all we get.
Yeah. I've gotten so many pieces of Star Wars memorabilia over the years that I had to start saying, okay, I love Star Wars, I really do, but everything in my house cannot be Star Wars.
Right? No, my wife would totally go for that. She would be perfectly cool to have an R2D2 refrigerator. Right?
Oh yeah, no, it's on the list.
You consider being a horror actor? Because that's fucking terrifying, dude.
What's that? The Mask?
Like after you put your do-rag on and the mask on, like you should just do that for Halloween. I bet they'll be scared as hell.
I'm kind of tempted, to be honest.
Just get you a big piece of pipe with like the nail through it.
Well, just all I have to do is turn off the lights and pull the hood up, and you won't even know who I am.
Well, it works in movies, right?
Oh yeah.
Marvel. Anytime my wife pointed this out to me. I can't believe I hadn't noticed it. Anytime someone wants to go incognito in Marvel, they go put a gray sweatshirt on and pull the hood up and a pair of dark sunglasses, and no one recognizes them. It's Captain America's walking down Fifth Avenue with a gray hoodie on and do nothing. No one. Not one person.
Wasn't there a scene in one of the movies where Thor did that and everybody acted like he wasn't there?
Yeah. That's what
guy's like 7 feet friggin' tall, 3 feet wide. How are you not seeing him?
I mean, and he is the god of thunder, which means any room he enters into, all the hair stands up. Right? You got to think about these subtle things that aren't actually mentioned. They're covered in the comic books, but they're not covered in the so like when Thor enters a room, even Superman like gets the heebie-jeebies because that's a god, not to be confused. Let me ask you this: have you watched the Cringe of Power?
God, no! I want nothing to do with that mess.
All right, so I had a buddy of mine who's he's never really gotten into Tolkien, right? He watched the movies, but that's all he really knows. And he's like, why has everybody got their panties twisted about this show? And when we first started out, I explained to him, I'm like, look, there's all of this lore. And he's like, well, I tell you what, I want you to stop the show every time you come to a point where they break lore and tell me what lore break they do. I said, well, I can't stop it that much, but I'll stop it occasionally and give you the big chunks that are a problem, right? He's like, okay. Like fucking 3 days for the first episode. 17 hours to get through too.
Yeah. I'm not a hardcore Tolkien nerd by any stretch of the imagination, but I mean, even I know that Tom Bombadil should have shown up in the first movie, sort of thing, right?
Dude, he should have landed right between Saruman and Gandalf. They all came together as a burned out freaking star or some shit like that. That part of it didn't bother me so much, right? Because it doesn't really explain how they came to Middle Earth. They just kind of burn in from the heavens or some shit. So the interpretation is kind of literal, but at the same time, whatever, right? The issue I had is when they start conflating ages and where things are. Like they actually storm a keep at one point that's supposed to be in the far north of the kingdom or whatever. Or rather far south of the kingdom in the first age. And it's the fallback point at the end of the second age, but they're storming it after he's supposedly fallen back to it. It makes no sense at all, right? And so they show up, there's an ice troll, and they get beat up. But she shows up and like strong vaginas her way right through it. I mean, I was just flabbergasted. I giggled the whole way through that thing. I'm almost convinced it might actually be a great anti-show.
You know, I remember when it was first coming out, and like I watched like the Friday Night Tights guys almost religiously. Those guys, I love them. As is, I mean, I'm basically a slightly better looking as, I think.
You hope,
but and potentially slightly more understandable because I don't have as much of an accent as that poor English bugger. But like the few times that I've seen him really go off on a rant about something, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, that's exactly what I look like when I do that.
Hey, Harry.
But when they were first starting the reviews on this thing, the way they were talking about it was, oh, this might have been a really good show if they had done it as something other than Tolkien, if it had just been its own thing.
Right. And it was great.
And within like 3 episodes, like, no, this is trash. It's absolute trash. Burn it. It's garbage.
Burn it before it reproduces. Use fire.
Basically. Take off and nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
It's pretty bad. The issue I had, okay, it ever being associated with Tolkien is terrible. Beyond that, the writing, the dialogue, the circumstances, Jake pointed out a point that I didn't catch the first way through. It's like it was made for a TikTok. It's 10 million, 10, 15. It's like 10 million 30-second scenes.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's like Michael Bay did a whole bunch of cocaine and ran in there and edited it down for him. It's just like jump cuts all over the place, man. It's slightly injured. Like I can't expect it to break out into a seizure.
Oh man, the jump cuts are one of the worst things too, especially when they put them in like fight scenes. Like I'm a huge fight scene guy, so like stuff like the first 3 episodes of Star Wars, the prequel series. Those lightsaber fights, I absolutely loved those because they're long shots, and Ray Park is an absolutely amazing performer.
And the choreography was real good.
Oh yeah. Nick Gillard absolutely knows his stuff.
Yeah.
But then they did the sequel series, and you see things like disappearing daggers. Like, what the fuck are you doing to my Star Wars? It's interesting watching the replay because I hardly ever watch any of this stuff back, so I have no idea what it looks like.
Right. All right. So we're at that point.
I think I need a few more pixels in my pixels.
That's just connection, dude. That was not a good one.
Oh yeah.
All right. So we're at that point in the show where we do the thing that we do at that point in the show. I got a little doohickey I poke over here, and then this happens.
You don't want cars? Yes. I'm a paleontologist. Oh, it's okay. There's dynamite in this bag. I am a paleontologist. I'm a paleontologist. Paleontologists study really old stuff.
Like crackers.
Because bad movies are funny.
Just in short for the Ardent Party live stream, scheduled for 3 o'clock Newfoundland time. It's 1:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Dude, you're steaming.
Hope to see you all there.
Look at you.
That's it.
You're on fire, son. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was probably early on in the year, and it's still cold in the mornings. It's getting cold in the mornings here too. I've kind of had to give up on doing any woodwork out in the shed at this point.
Oh, come on. Be a real man. You can do it.
No, I'm a pansy.
I got a couple of friends from Newfoundland. I know.
Yeah.
It's like, why can't doofy fishermen swim? Because it's cold, dude. I mean, you're dead about 30 seconds after you hit the water. You're like, nothing you can do for it. That's in the summer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, it's, we call it the frigid ass North Atlantic for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done my share of fishing on that water. I would rather never do that again. Yeah.
Did not enjoy it, I think.
No, not the most comfortable work in the world. Let's put it that way. There's a reason my hands are big.
There's a million things I can do that's not on a freaking boat at sea, bro.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of shit that I can
Yeah,
do
no, if
warm home.
yeah, if I get to the point where I've got to go fishing again, I'm moving to Texas to do it, so it's at least warm.
That's a great idea, dude. I want to move
Yeah.
to Texas anyway.
Oh, that's the plan. I identify as a trans-Texan at this point.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, eventually, if this stuff keeps going the way it's going, I'm going to apply to Trudeau's government to actually help me express my to live my truth, so that I can get a plane ticket to Texas.
I have filled out in the census that I was a Jedi since I was 12.
Let me see. One of the censuses I've filled out, I said I was Sith. Another one, I think I said I was a vampire. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who reads these things, but I imagine I'm causing somebody a good laugh somewhere.
There's this one when I was about 12. I've been about 22, I guess. It was the first time I actually had to like do the census myself, and so there's this paperwork that comes with it, and it like lets you explain or whatever. And I told some wacky ass story in the explanation part. I just wrote out the dear reader, hope you're not too bored. That maybe this will brighten your day. Once upon a time, there were... and I've done stupid shit like that on single extra, except for doctor's forms. I don't do that on doctor's forms and court documents.
Yeah. Anywhere where it might come back to bite you in the ass, it's probably a bad idea.
Can you say blue?
Blue.
I don't know. It tickles your pickle, sure, Jedi. I'm good with it. I got this
If
one.
I wanted to be really annoying about it, I'd just go, I'm blue, da ba dee da ba da.
Copyright claim, bam.
No, I don't sing well enough for YouTube to copyright strike me.
I just see that whole copyright concept as being like part of the craft of YouTubery, right? To be able to accomplish your goals without being a foul of the copyright system. That's just a part of it, right? So there's some people who are like, oh, well, if you're not monetized, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, yeah, well, but I mean, I'm kind of competing with people who are monetized. So I kind of got to put in that extra A game that most people don't even bother with if they're not going to worry about it, you know?
Yeah, I don't really expect to ever get monetized because of some of the things I've said, but I'm still going to try to avoid as many claims as I can.
Sure, exactly. Yeah. Hey, bud, good to see you. Welcome to the show. We do this like weekly, 3 times a week if possible. If there's enough guests, I'll host 3 times a week. But at the beginning of next month, I am going to be doing jury duty, and so it'll be nothing but recorded, pre-recorded, scheduled stuff being uploaded. So I might hold this one and the last one I did for an extra few days before I release it as a finished video. But I will be poaching shorts out of it well before then.
If
remixes are neat. Have you tried that?
What's that?
Remixes?
No.
All right. So go to your own video in your own backstage and look at it in your phone, and you'll see a create button somewhere around the bottom.
Okay.
Click the create button, and you can pick whatever part of the video you want to make into a short and focus on either the right or left side of the video to find wherever the face is or whatever you're highlighting. And it's actually worked out fairly well for me as far as the way I do things, because for the most part, I'm showing other people's content, right? And so they usually have a face on the screen, and so there's me, there's you, and then there's that was not supposed to be.
Oh, it's just me playing with fire again. Don't mind.
Well, we're gonna sit here and look at this because I like the way that looks. It's cool. I started to blow this one up real big so that we could see it just sit there and. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah. The worst thing is that about 30 seconds after this video cuts off, after I finished putting all the candles in, I knocked the thing over and 4 of them broke.
You have terrible luck, dude.
Oh, yeah. But on the upside, it's a super cheap box of Walmart candles, so I can replace them anytime.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I when we moved into the house, unbeknownst to me, the lady who owned the house before us was a candle aficionado.
Oh, okay.
So we move in, we go through, we clean everything up, get everything gathered up, put some stuff in the attic, put some stuff in storage, put some stuff in the shed, and we get it cleaned out enough that we can live. And then we go to the cabinets. I open up one of the cabinets, and there's probably a half ton of wax because this house was sealed up with no cooling and no heating for like a year and a half. I'm in Georgia. It must have got to 120 in here. It turned it into a solid block of wax inside the and here's the thing. There's like cords and like wicks and records and whatnots and like crystal candle holders and shit all across the bottom. There's no getting that damn thing out of there.
I'd have just taken the whole thing, epoxied the lot of it, and gone, look at that. Nouvelle art coffee table.
I desperately wanted to pull it out in one piece and flip it over and then build the coffee table on the bottom of it. Because I bet that's cool looking as shit from that side. I don't know.
Yeah, a wax glacier, indeed.
Absolutely. It was crazy, dude. Because right after we moved in, we got the AC fixed, and we just didn't even. We opened it and saw the candles, and was like, "Oh, candles!" We closed it. You know? We didn't need the candles right then. It wasn't until like the power goes out one night, and we're, hey, I got a bunch of candles. I went in there and pulled on one, and the whole freaking thing just kind of shifted around because it's not actually on the cabinet. It's on top of a bunch of candle holders, like little rocks and crystals and all kinds of craziness in there. And there's no way to get it out. No way. I ended up breaking it out piece by piece and getting most of the candle holders out of it with a heat gun. That's what it takes. Effort.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just trying to remember what I'm doing right here in the video. I think I'm just cleaning off a bit of spilled wax using like an Air Miles card or something.
That's a pretty good porn stash you got there, bud. I didn't notice it the first time.
There's actually a beard to go with it, just like I've got now. It's just I'm a ginger, man. My hair does not grow in thick at all.
What'd you call that?
Hey? I've got a tiny little bit of a beard going here too, but yeah, you can't even like. Amazingly, there's like 4 months of growth on my face there, and you can't see it.
I gave up. I actually gave up eventually. See, here's the thing: I have like a bald spot and another bald spot, and another bald spot. And so when you ever seen No Dirt?
Not for years, but yeah.
So when I haven't got it all fully grown in, it grows in all white and trashy like that.
Yeah, I've got bald spots too here and here. I went through an interesting accident when I was younger and basically got road rash on both of my cheeks, and nothing's grown in any sense at all.
That's horrible. That's absolutely horrible, dude. I don't know.
On the upside, saves on razors.
I'm doing better than Mexican long hair myself. He does like a Fu Manchu kind of thing, and apparently that's all he can do.
Oh God!
He tried the neck beard at one point in time, and it didn't work.
Wow!
It just really wasn't really there. I'd like to see him put his heart into it, spend about 6 months and not touch it. I don't think he has the cojones. I don't think he can do it.
Yeah, I don't think I could go that long without at least cleaning up at this point.
Well, I was bald for like 2 years. And I know that sounds wacky coming from this fuzzy fuck sitting over here, but I did. I straight up. But let me tell you what happened. So I had this this Wolverine thing going on with big fat ass mutton chops. You know, huge things. They were gargantuan, dude, stuck off the side of my head like I was going to attack somebody. Anyway, I was working with some hot metal and stuff, and my hair landed across the metal, and like so a whole swath of it just got burned off. I was like, "Fuck, I can't walk around like that," you know. So I went home and shaved my head. On my way to work the next morning, I was pulled over. On my way home that afternoon, I was pulled over by 2 different cops. And I started thinking, well, that's weird. I haven't been pulled over in 15 years. Suddenly I get pulled over in the same 20-minute drive on the same day. And the next morning, I got pulled over again. And I told this guy, I was like, look, man, this is starting to get weird. Can you give me, are you profiling me some kind of how? Is it the bald head, the huge mutton chops? I mean, I'm driving a freaking Taurus. Everything's in order. I don't understand. And then he's like, oh, we changed our stop location. We were down past the bridge. Now we're up here, you know, on this side of the road you're pulling out of. So when you pull off the end of your road, you ride right by one of us every day. Just happened to get pulled over 3 times in the same week. I'm like, bullshit.
Yeah, that doesn't sound likely.
Me over 3 times in the same week? Nah, man. There's something up here. Are y'all looking for white supremacists? I suspect you're looking for white supremacists. I burned my hair, bro. Back off. I didn't get pulled over again, like for almost a year and a half. So it worked or whatever. Cajun Roots reseller. It's good to see you, boy. How you doing? How you doing? Am I doing it right? I might not be doing it right. I'll get clip that. That'd be a good one.
You could try it in the Newfoundland accent and ask him how he's getting on.
How's it go? Hold on. Where you at, bae?
What are you at? How's she going? How's she cutting?
How's she cutting?
Yeah.
I did that too well, didn't I? My wife games with a newfie, and
Oh, okay.
tell him jokes, and he tells me jokes, but I don't get his joke because I don't speak newfie.
Oh yeah, it can be a bit difficult.
He's like, "You get it? You get it? You got it? You get it?" What the fuck is he saying? Slow down and enunciate. I'm the southerner here. We shouldn't be having this problem.
You just want to scream at him, start speaking English, damn it.
Right? Basically. Oh Lord. All right, so
yeah.
I want to know whether or not you're going to be doing any more hiking type videos, because that was actually pretty cool. Your reaction to the environment was funny. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I'm going to try and do one, I think, before the end of this month. I've got the Sultans are getting together to do a Halloween drunk stream, and I'm thinking the next day would be a wonderful time to punish myself by going for a hike.
Oh, there you go. That's exactly what you do. See, in my household, you from the time I was 10 or 12, it was perfectly fine to get drunk as I wanted to, as long as I did it at home. But you can bet your bottom dollar the next morning you were going to be plowing that South 40. You damn sure were. You was going to be out there rounding up all the pigs, marking all the turkeys, all the chickens, all the guinea hens. You be out there sexing chicks or something. Yeah. Like, yeah, you can clip that one too. It's an actual farm term. I'm sorry. That's gonna go over well. I'm gonna use that for a short almost immediately. That's a good one. About 10 minutes. What channels do you watch? You know, when you wake up in the morning, you go in and you sit down on the pot and you open your phone up and you're like, okay, and there's that list.
Yeah.
You know, you scroll back and pick one, right? What's that first one?
It's usually either Styx, Hex, and Hammer or something from Steven Crowder or the Lotus Eaters. It's usually political first thing in the morning.
Yeah. I have been resisting the urge to use Lotus Eaters quotes because they don't need my help at all. They're doing their own thing. They got it handled. I don't think I need to, but sometimes they're so poignant. Exactly what they're wanting to say, you know.
Yeah, Carl Benjamin's been a big influence on me even starting to do what I do.
Yeah, many moons ago we were in the same I don't remember what the freaking site was, but it's like Discord, but it's dead now. I think it was bought out by Discord or something. I don't remember. But it was some weird message board type site, worked off the cell phone. It was the very first site I ever freaking got involved in. And I didn't realize it at the time, but it turned out that the person that was operating that particular message board, it was like Carl Benjamin and some other dude that I've never quite identified because the site's gone and I have no way of knowing. But it was it eventually morphed basically into podcast Lotus Eaters, like the concept of it, you know, not the actual site itself, but like the way he's set up now, and he's got like the multiple. It was like that, but much rougher. Everybody had their own colors. It wasn't so svelte, but it was neat because back then, you know, he had a bit of edge.
Yeah. When I started watching them, I think it was about 5,
Yeah.
6, maybe even 7 years ago. Holy crap, I'm getting old.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a long time ago, and I remember it was just after the whole Gamergate thing kind of started to die down that I found them. And like I'm just watching this guy talking about random media stuff, if I remember right.
Random, but it's
What's
not.
that?
It all has one vein. I said it seems random, but it's not. It all has a single vein to it.
Yeah,
It's the narrative.
Yeah, it's all fighting the culture war, really.
I wouldn't even go that far. In my opinion, Carl Benjamin is fortifying the center. He's not all that right wing, bro. He's fairly liberal. Like in American politics, he'd be a liberal Democrat. You know, he's more free speech than not. He's more, you know what I'm saying? So trying to paint him as a right wing extremist is like, it's not going to.
Yeah, no, that's that's definitely not appropriate. No, I would say at this point I'm probably a little more conservative than Carl is.
I'm slightly right of Attila the Hun. Just so you know, I think everyone should do what I want you to do. Like, just stop thinking for yourself and do what I tell you.
Yeah, I'm not saying I should be the benevolent dictator of the world, but I'm not saying I shouldn't be either.
What's the quote? How does it go? I will be a benevolent dictator, but I will be dictator.
Yeah.
I'll be a benevolent king, but I will be king.
Yeah.
Another night of the long knives over here. Let's not get too far off of that until slightly right. What's slightly right? I'm not sure I understand.
Oh, I think this video is one of the ones where I started trying to make the flute.
Yeah, no, I loved your attempt at the flute. I really did.
Yeah.
I went back and watched a couple of those videos twice to try to see if you did anything wrong. Not just a bad piece. You got to pick your piece. That's all it is. And that'll come with experience. After you break a few more, you'll realize that line right there is gonna break as soon as I start doing whatever that is. You know, that interior hole's a real muck fucker, isn't it?
Oh yeah. And I think it was the first one I actually drilled 2 holes and didn't quite mate them properly. Ooh. And it was literally I'll keep it in not metric for you. It was like 1/8 of an inch difference, maybe even a 1/16.
Yeah.
That's just one of the few good things about being in Newfoundland, being raised in Newfoundland. I can actually work in metric and imperial. So, you know, freedom units and French units.
When I was coming up, there was a huge push to switch over to metric. And so all the schools, like for about 2 years, just stopped teaching customary measurement until the parents were like, no. I can't help them with math if I don't understand what they're talking about. You want parent help, you're going to have to stick with the customary measurement. We're not going to be able to help you. So I ended up with a pretty good, like in my head, when you say a metric measurement, it just pops out. Like it doesn't convert straight, but I know about what you're talking about. Yeah, I guesstimate real good. I used to have a metric tape measure that I used on certain jobs.
Yeah, most of the tape measures I have are actually dual. You pretty much need to have them be both. So
you want to confuse the shit out of an American carpenter? Hand them a dual tape measure without telling them. And in the early days, when you come across them, it will really screw up your building because you occasionally use the wrong lines.
Oof.
And like everything goes horribly wrong on those days. It's basically a bad trick. It's like sending them for a skyhook. Here, use this one. It's fired.
Yeah, the customary one here is I like to send people for a can of compression.
Yeah, I need some blinker fluid. Yeah. Some asshole made that, right? It's on the
show. Oh yeah, I saw that somewhere. I think you were showing it, were you?
I think so.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I think I pretty much tittered my ass right off the chair looking at that one.
Dude, I've got so much crap over here that I haven't got to use yet because the right circumstances haven't popped up. I got a couple of ideas for new channels, but they're not really good for me. It's not a good fit for me. Like the memology style channel. Are you familiar with Memology 101?
Yeah.
So
That's probably the second channel I click on in the morning.
That's a good choice. Another good one is NPC University. Check it out, dude. It's
Never
got a
heard of that
whole
one.
dude. It's hold on. We're gonna look at that. Wait, no, let me play you
Okay.
out and then we'll look at it. Just
Okay.
let's do that thing. You got anything you want to tell people about? Who's your pitch? Whoever channels you want to pitch the little
We'll
people you'd like to thank.
I'll pitch the Sultans of Chatelet, which is the Saturday live stream that I do with a bunch of friends from all over the world, and I'll pitch my own live stream on Sundays, and that's Ask Ardent. So it's basically intended to be an eternal AMA. If you've got a question to ask me, doesn't matter how weird, how wacky it is. If I can't answer it, I'll tell you straight up, I have no idea. But here's what I think might be the answer. And if it's somebody throwing me or attempting to throw me a curveball, I may throw it right back at them.
Awesome. That's another part that I like about your morning show thing. That thing that you do in the mornings. It's not live so much as it is the stream of consciousness.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna right
oh,
quick
go ahead.
and do the whole play out, and I want to ask chat right quick. Do I want to take a risk of a copyright claim by playing my original outro, or do we stick with the new outro that's all cool and everything, all nice, svelte, and finished? So let me know quick. Need to know because we're coming down on the final minute here. It's counting down. I have 48 seconds. Oh, 40 seconds. It's counting down by twos now. I'm a professional. This is fine. What are we gonna do? I got nothing happening. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna do the other one. Actually, we'll take the risk. I'll cut it short. That's what I'll do. Ha. Is it gonna work?
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out.